Unit 4, Technology and E-Learning. The INACOL standards that we are addressing in this unit of instruction are Standard G and Standard H. The reading topics that we are focusing upon specifically offered within the unit of instruction, but the overarching topics that we will focus upon are assessments and evaluative efforts and evaluation processes, and the doctoral students do have additional assigned readings. Concerning assessments and evaluative efforts, aspects need to be considered when developing course assessments and different forms of evaluation, such as flexibility of delivery for different students at different times in different situations, academic resources that are available for them, such as tutoring services, library resources, writing center, disability services, opportunities for adaptive learning efforts. The prior learning, evaluating, assessing the prior learning and differentiation between prior learning and current efforts. Social engagement can be assessed and evaluated. Student self-regulation abilities may be something that are worthy of pre-assessment as well as post-assessment, but especially formative forms of student self-regulation efforts. Analyzing online discussions is vitally important, such as for social engagement. What are the ethics involved in the types of online discussions, the specific data, and the interpretation? And then scoring the rubrics, whether they are whether you're going through the developmental phase of the scoring efforts, evaluative tools, whether the validity, how valid these tools are towards assessing the learning objectives stated, learning goals and objectives, as well as reliability. How reliable is this scoring rubric towards evaluating, assessing the learner's efforts? Is it valid, meaning you'll hit it over and over and over again? Is it reliable, whereas whatever you're trying to evaluate will be evaluated on the same level in each student product? And then online testing integrity. What is it you want to achieve within the online testing environment, and how can you ensure that there are not concerns related to the integrity of the evaluative opportunity, such as, is it going to be a timed multiple choice quiz? Is it going to be open book, open-ended? How many times can a student sit for a specific evaluation opportunity? If it is an assignment submission, the deliverables, can the student submit their deliverables numerous times? For example, initial deliverable submission didn't realize that not all of the deliverables had been submitted, and the student can go back and upload the additional deliverables within the assignment submission area. Is that vitally important to the course structure, to the learners' understanding and enhancement and motivation levels as well? And then formative assessment and summative assessments. Are formative assessments integrated into the instructional process? Is the instructor focused upon testing each step of the way to what extent the learner has gleaned the information? Or is it a summative assessment where you have all of these experiences that are coming together into a final summative assessment? All of these questions throughout the instructional design process and implementation phases are vitally important, not only to the learner's success within the course, which is, one might suggest, the overarching outcome being learning the information, engaging with the materials in new, innovative ways, from knowledge base all the way up through creation, synthesis, creation of new information, of new products based upon the subject matter they're learning? Or is it a one-stop shop where it's the knowledge base that is essential as a summative assessment, such as OSHA standards? Great that formative assessment is occurring throughout the OSHA-based trainings, but what truly matters is the summative assessment, where yes or no, the instruction, the objectives have been met, and the student receives that OSHA training as being a successful endeavor. Concerning evaluation process, anonymity of respondents may be appropriate depending upon what type of evaluation is occurring. Customization of questions may be appropriate. For example, if you have a team environment within a unit of instruction and each of the teams is endeavoring towards understanding different subject matter, different engagement with the materials towards different products, customization of questions, customization of the evaluation is appropriate and necessary at that point. Data security and availability, especially concerning FERPA laws. The inclusion of different types of incentives may be appropriate. For example, I know of people who have set up their courses so that the student can submit and receive feedback numerous times on the same assessment, so that the suggestion being the final course grade is based upon the quality of final product the student can achieve versus some other type of situation where formative evaluation and support is offered at different points, and it's not the final grade that matters but the experience of the evaluative process. And what type of incentives can be included? If you if the learner submits the work 5 days earlier in a 2-week period, would there be an incentive? Are there points allocated towards early submission? These are questions that need to be addressed. Ease of maintenance and modification of whatever type of evaluation process is inherent within the instructional environment are necessary and appropriate. Not only the instructor needs to be technologically aware and able to manipulate the evaluative process, but also sufficient resources need to be available. Ongoing maintenance towards assuring the evaluative process is inherent and appropriate, and improving the system in a timely fashion, not in the middle of an instructional effort, but in between courses, for example, in between the instructional efforts. And then reporting capability. If there are issues, can the learner report the issues if the learning management system has an outage, if there are issues within the course structure, if the server went down for some crazy reason? Can the learner communicate that to the course instructor, who can then reframe the understanding of the environment and the timeliness of the evaluation occurrence? As well, using multiple scales within a single evaluative system, going back to customization of the questions if appropriate, or if there's a multiple choice exam, if there's a database from which the evaluation pulls, and what is the process towards associating and engaging the database towards the multiple scales within the single evaluative system. Timely response rates, especially on the part of the instructor evaluation. Standardized student usage, mandating that the evaluation process is standardized time and again so that it no longer becomes a serious issue after the first time or two that the student attempts the evaluation process. And accommodations for students with special needs, for unusual situations, accommodations may need to arise, whether it be a team-based versus individual-based accommodation, or time versus open-ended versus multiple evaluation events. So thinking about all of those interesting, strange considerations concerning evaluations and assessments. Our Unit 4 assignment, we have a Part 1, which is the team assignment, and of course transcription tool options available to you. And then Part 2, the individual assignment concerning Unit 4 assignment effort. And then our bulletin board assignment for Unit 4. Part 1 is a team endeavor as well as individual endeavor. The team deliverable needs to be uploaded and available, and then the individuals need to upload and make available their deliverables. And then Part 2 is an individual effort wherein everyone has an opportunity to review, critically analyze, and communicate, question different aspects associated with each of the team efforts, as well as individual efforts. And again, the doctoral students have an opportunity towards submitting an academic manuscript review opportunity wherein the instructor will evaluate the academic manuscript draft and offer feedback.